The story of Alexander the Great, the boy who dreamed of conquering the world. More than 2,000 years ago, in the ancient kingdom of Macedon, a boy was born who would one day change the course of history. His name was Alexander. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the city of Pella. His father, King Philip II, was one of the most powerful rulers in Greece. Philip was a brilliant military leader who transformed Macedon into a strong kingdom. His mother, Olympias, believed that her son was destined for greatness. She often told young Alexander that he was not an ordinary child, but someone chosen for a great purpose. From a very young age, Alexander showed signs of unusual intelligence and courage. While other children played simple games, Alexander listened carefully to stories about heroes, warriors, and gods. His favorite stories were about Achilles, the legendary hero of the Trojan War. Alexander admired Achilles so much that he kept a copy of the Iliad with him for most of his life. But Alexander was not just a dreamer, he was also incredibly determined. One famous story from his childhood shows this clearly. When Alexander was about 12 years old, a wild horse was brought to the royal palace. The horse was strong and beautiful, but it was also extremely aggressive. No one could ride it. Even the most experienced soldiers failed. King Philip became frustrated and ordered the horse to be taken away. But young Alexander stepped forward. He carefully observed the horse and realized something others had missed. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. Alexander calmly turned the horse toward the sun so it could no longer see the shadow. Then he gently spoke to it, slowly climbed onto its back, and rode it successfully. Everyone was shocked. King Philip looked at his son with pride and said something that would later become famous. "My son, you must find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions. Macedon is too small for you." The horse's name was Bucephalus, and it would carry Alexander through many of his future battles. A brilliant education, Alexander's parents wanted him to receive the best education possible. So when he was 13 years old, his father invited one of the greatest philosophers in the world to teach him. That philosopher was Aristotle. Aristotle did not only teach Alexander about reading and writing, he taught him philosophy, science, medicine, geography, and politics. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander developed a deep curiosity about the world. He learned about different cultures and distant lands. He studied maps and dreamed of exploring the unknown parts of the earth. Aristotle also taught Alexander about Greek culture and the idea that knowledge and learning were powerful tools. These lessons would later influence how Alexander treated the lands he conquered. Even though Alexander trained his mind with philosophy, he never neglected his physical training. He practiced riding horses, fighting with swords, and leading soldiers. By the time he became a teenager, he was already skilled in both warfare and leadership. At just 16 years old, Alexander proved his abilities when his father left him in charge of the kingdom while he was away at war. During that time, a nearby tribe rebelled against Macedon. Instead of waiting for help, Alexander quickly gathered